perspective, what you folks were just checking out, that is actually our business partner in a course that she teaches. She teaches a course called Business Credit as well as we do, you know, and so we have a lot of us here can actually teach and train and coach on business credit, which actually it's super exciting for you guys. You better make sure that you're plugged into the Wise Guys in Ties YouTube channel, because we're going to have this business credit masterclass. We're going to try to have that out this weekend.
Oh, that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, this Saturday.
Based off of this book right here, right?
Yeah, step-by-step instructional. It'll probably be about 2 hours long, step-by-step, how to build your business credit from start to finish, everything you need to do in between. And it really is, you know, if you've been around for a while, you know about our book, How to Build Business Credit. We're literally just taking everything in the book, laying it out for you in instructional design and going step by step so you can know exactly where you're at in the process and where you need to go to move forward and accessing $50,000 in business lines credit in the next 6 to 12 months.
Absolutely. Well, let's get this officially started. Hello and welcome. My name is Joseph Smith. This is Ray Fleming, and we are talking today about how truckers, over-the-road truckers, can get business credit that's linked to their EIN and not their social security number. Now, some people might hear that right off the bat and think, wait a minute, I'm not a trucker. Well, what do I need this for? Well, we're going to go over not only for truckers, but how to start a business for anybody and make it credible. But here's the thing. When you're in business, and whatever your business is, you need people, property, and money, right? Those are the things that all businesses need. And if you can help truckers out there find access to the money that they need to build and grow their business, you might find for yourself a future investor in your business or your business opportunities. So just don't tune out because you hear the word truckers and that might not apply to you. This is something that is absolutely life-changing for everybody who hears this training today. Now, let's go ahead and jump right on in. Again, I told you already, my name is Joseph Smith, and this is my business partner, Mr. Ray Fleming. We are the Wise Guys in Ties, wise in the ways of helping you build, grow, and even start a business that is fundable, lendable. In fact, we help people get the resources that they need to achieve the success that they're looking for, not only in their personal lives, but in their business as well. So that's our contact information on the screen. We definitely look forward to working with you. Today is a really awesome training where we are going to be diving into the world of business credit and specifically going to take a slant for all of those who are over-the-road truckers or thinking about becoming over-road trucker, or you're currently an employee, but you want your own over-the-road trucking business. This is the training that's going to help you start, build, and grow a business. So why business credit? Well, if you've got an EIN, then the IRS says you've got a business. But if you only have personal credit, then you'll be responsible for your business's debts and its taxes and its bankruptcy if that happens. Now, you don't want this, because what we want to do is we want to create a separation between your personal side and your business side. I mean, let's face it, if you're a sole proprietorship or you're in a partnership, those just can't we can't really build business credit on it because you are the business. So it's always going to require a personal guarantee. It's always going to require some type of credit check. But when you create a separate entity, then you can be able to create that separation that we're looking for and build your business credit. So we're talking about today, we're going to be talking about how to get fleet credit, which directly helps you with vehicle maintenance, fuel, repairs, all of those things, as well as, gas credit is a large part of that too. And so when we're talking about business credit, this is something that can take your business to the next level. I mean, there's a lot of people that can grow a business to a 6-figure income and do that based off of their own personal guarantee. Right. But if you ever want to grow beyond $500,000 to $1 million business, or you want to become a nationwide business, you're going to need to establish a business credit rating, have a business credit profile. This is what's necessary and needed to build and grow in today's economy. So business credit is credit that's obtained in the business's name. With business credit, credit with the business builds its own credit profile and score. With an established credit profile and score, the business will then qualify for credit. This is amazing, because normally we think of things in terms of our own personal credit, and there's only so far we can go with that. And if some people have shipwrecked their personal credit, then they feel like they're out of options. Well, that's when business credit comes in and allows you to, I mean, if you already have good credit, I mean, you can go out and get a card. Let's say you went into the Home Depot and you got a personal credit card at the Home Depot.
Right.
Well, you can't go back the next day and get another personal card at the Home Depot. You're only allowed one account.
Exactly.
But if you went back the next day with your business account and you applied and got a credit card in your business's name, you've now more than doubled your credit, your borrowing power.
Oh, good point.
Just by simply doing that.
And you may have even gotten a higher approval on the business.
Absolutely. So with business credit, this is credit in the business's name and is based on the business's ability to pay, not the business owners. So you create that separation. And when we look at personal credit, which we might dive into a little bit today, there's so many factors that determine your personal credit that it's really as simple as just paying your bills on time on the business side. Since the business qualifies for credit, in some cases, there's no personal credit check required from the business owner. I mean, that's when they follow our program, that's exactly how we get people. We get people from no business credit to business credit without using a personal guarantee or without a personal credit check very fast. We're talking about as fast as building 14 accounts over a 6 to 12 month period of time, and just making product purchases, getting invoiced, and paying all those bills on time. Creating that track record, that payment history, gives us an excellent payment history that allows us to then have business credit on the level of being able to get additional lines of credit and even qualify for loans. Business can use its credit to qualify for revolving store credit. So think of credit like Sam's Club, Costco, BP, Sunco, Exxon, Shell, Ford, RGS Fleet, Walmart, even MasterCard, Visa, and American Express. We're talking about if you're in the trucking business, you need fuel cards. And you also, when you need to get materials or supplies for yourself, you need to have access to businesses that are everywhere, right? There's Sam's Clubs everywhere, Costco's are everywhere. It doesn't help to have a regional credit card when you're an over-the-road trucker. Maybe you were based on the West Coast and you're over on the East Coast, and now none of your cards work over on the East Coast.
Defeats the whole purpose right there.
Absolutely. So the business can use its credit to qualify for fleet credit and for the maintenance and repair of the company vehicles, including trucks. I mean, if you just have one truck, right, you need to keep gas in it, you need to maintain it, and sometimes you need to repair it. But when you can get credit lines like $40,000, you're able to get another vehicle. And when you can get access to $150,000, you're able to bring on another driver. Maybe you can now double your capacity. Auto vehicle financing to buy a whole nother rig. So there's so many advantages that business credit can help with. So the business qualifies for the credit and loans on its own merit and not without needing a personal guarantee. A credit profile can be built for a business which is completely separate from the business owner's credit profile. This is what we've been talking about doubling your borrowing power, like I was talking about with that Home Depot example, right? Being able to double your buying power. Business credit scores are based only on whether the business pays its bills on time. That's it. That's why you can build business credit so fast. On personal credit side, you've got your inquiries, you've got your mix of credit, you've got your credit history, your utilization. I mean, it could take a good decade before you have fixed any issues that you have with your credit profile to get a good personal credit score.
That's very true.
But you could start a business and have an excellent business credit rating inside of 6 months.
Even though we've seen it so many times, I just don't think people understand how fast that actually is. 6 months can go like that. We're in June. 6 months went like that.
I thought it was January. Look at wow. So approval limits are higher on business accounts because again, we're not dealing with the personal side, we're dealing with the business. Now, per the SBA, credit limits on business credit cards are usually 10 to 100 times higher than consumer credit. So if you got a credit card for $5,000, let's say a Visa card, it's very likely that a similar type of card would be $50,000 for it being a corporate account. Now, we talked about personal credit. Like, look at the 5 factors there. That we were talking about: payment history, utilization, your length of credit history, your accumulation of new credit, and your credit mix. This is what makes up your credit score, your personal credit score. And this is why it's really hard, because 35% of your score is payment history. You got one late payment, 30-day, 60-day, 90-day late. Well, that's 35% of your score right there, and that can stay with you for like up to 7 years. A 120-day late payment, right?
Wow.
That would be with you for 7 years, affecting your score. Utilization, anything really over 30% begins to negatively impact you. So people get personal credit cards, and then they start using them, and then their score goes down, right? And then we're talking about your age of accounts. How many people have closed accounts, or they open up a whole bunch of new accounts, and then that lowers your average age, and then so your score lowers. And then you have your inquiries and your mix of credit, all of these things that people might not even fully understand, but this is how your FICO score is calculated. And the system is designed for you to build your credit very slowly. If you try to open a whole bunch of new accounts and try to imagine, like, basically just take what we do on how we coach people with business credit and apply that to personal credit, and your personal credit would go in the tank.
Yes.
But on the business side, Dun & Bradstreet, the PAYDEX score, this is really the primary scoring system for credit. It's all based off of your payment history. There's no other factors. Do you pay on time? Well, if you pay on time, you'd get an 80 PAYDEX score, which is equivalent to like an 800 on the FICO score on the personal side. Just paying your bills on time, and you could have like an equivalent of an 800 credit score.
That's some serious confidence when you walk into the lender.
Absolutely. If you start paying your bills early, like as soon as you get invoiced, you pay it, right? You could start creeping up into the 100 level, right? But if you don't pay your bills on time, look at how quickly your score begins to drop. So, and people aren't going to typically lend to you if you're under 75, right? 75 is about the cutoff that they've seen. So all you have to, it's as easy and as simple and as complex as paying your bills on time. That's all you have to do to build your business credit, right? But when the benefits of separating business and personal credit, when done right, business credit can be built without a personal credit check. Business credit can quickly be obtained regardless of your personal credit quality. I mean, it doesn't even matter. We have people that have gone through 2 foreclosures and a bankruptcy, like myself, right? Who's able to get business credit. I mean, there's no personal credit reporting to the business on the business credit account. So not only can you keep it separated in terms of applying for credit, but the reporting of the credit. There's the business credit bureaus, and then there's the consumer credit reporting bureaus, totally separated. Most business credit can be obtained without the owner taking on the personal liability or the personal guarantee. And in the case of default, the business owner's personal assets can't be pursued. I mean, that's why it's important to start a business and to incorporate and have that liability protection, that separation, that corporate veil, have insurance, all of those important things. But when you get credit in the business's name that you didn't personally guarantee, then that's another way to keep that separated. So the benefits of separating, again, we're talking about more of this, is when a business owner applies for financing, their business credit is reviewed. So people are either going to get declined when they apply for business financing because they don't have business credit, or they're going to be prompted for a person to give a personal guarantee. There are no regulations requiring lenders to notify the owner for the reason of the denial. So most never know that they didn't have business credit to begin with, right? There's an FCRA, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, that says, hey, if somebody pulls your credit, they need your approval, they need your authorization. And anybody who, any type of credit must be reported promptly, accurately. I mean, there's all kinds of rules, right? On the business side, there is no such law. It's the wild, wild west. Nobody has to report. And if they do report, it doesn't necessarily have to be accurate, right? I mean, there's nothing going on here. So But when somebody wants to apply for a loan, you've got your secret bank rating, right? You got your bank credit, you've got your personal credit, and you also have your business credit. Those combined are going to come up with a special credit rating that determines whether or not you can qualify for certain loans over $250,000. So you can't even get there. You can't even get to that point without business credit. The way the formulas are calculated, let's say you had an 850 personal credit score, right? And let's say you had a low 5 bank rating, right? The formula is designed when you're applying for large amounts of money. I mean, think of a business that's going to buy, a trucking business that's going to buy a truck. That's a big investment, right? You can't qualify for these type of investments without business credit. It's an essential component. So anyone can pull your business credit report, right? The FCRA says you have to sign and give authorization, but for as little as $40, you could pull anybody's credit profile off of the internet. It's all public record.
Without your permission?
Without your permission.
That's wild.
So that means they can see your, clients. I mean, your clients, your prospects, potential buyers. They can see your payment history, your high credit limits, your revenue, your employees, past performance. I mean, there's so much that's on. I mean, if you want to get a full credit report, it's typically $100, and those could be like 50 to 100 pages long, depending on how much history is there. But just to get a snapshot, like a one-page summary, $40, and somebody can.
But if you think about that, I mean, if I'm looking to work with somebody, if I'm looking to do some deals with somebody, or really in any business, potential clients or other partners, vendors, if they check that out and it doesn't seem, they don't really see anything, that could be a big red flag for them.
Absolutely. I mean, people don't realize that there are many people that look at your business credit before they decide whether or not they are going to do business with you, like you said.
Well, that brings up a good point, because on your personal side, your credit score doesn't just affect lending. That can affect your insurance rate. That could affect your job. It's the same thing on the business side. If you don't have business credit, that could affect your job.
Absolutely.
Your jobs that you're looking to get.
I was thinking about that. I mean, you're going to talk later about the 411, but if your business isn't listed in the 411 and you're applying for just general liability insurance, we're talking about the difference in rates of like getting cut in half. If you're in the 411, you get the lowest rates possible. You're not in the 401, you're charged the highest insurance rates possible. I mean, so you're absolutely right about that insurance. So when businesses are trying to go out there and get business credit, right? If you don't have it, when you go to apply for anything from a lender, they're looking for collateral. They want your last 3 years of financials. If you're a startup, they're going to say, come back when you've been in business for 3 to 5 years, right? But business credit helps you get past all that. You can still get access to funds without the collateral, without the financials, and even as a startup, right? You just need to know the proper steps. All highly successful businesses have business credit. I've heard it said like this, you don't have to be a big, major, huge company to get business credit, but you can never become a big, huge, major company or business without business credit. So that's how important, that's how important it is. So business credit building, it starts by building a whole new credit profile, just the same way you would start with a consumer profile. I mean, you've got the business starts with no credit. And then when you start actually applying and opening up your accounts, especially with Equifax and Experian, they're going to put you as a failing credit rate. I mean, that's just where you start. You go through the process of putting your profile together, and immediately on day one, it says, this is a failing business credit report, right? So that can be hard, right? But because you can build business credit so fast, it takes almost no time, 6 months, to build that up and get it from failing credit rate to recommended.
That's awesome.
Right, credit rate. So all you have to do is pay your bills on time, and then you can establish a positive payment history. Now, the perception lenders and vendors and creditors have of your business is crucial to your ability to build strong business credit. Before applying for business credit, a business must ensure it meets or exceeds all of the lender's credibility standards. We're talking about those secret, unpublished underwriting guidelines that nobody knows, right? These are the standards that businesses set to help them determine, basically separate the pretenders from the contenders, right? Those who are serious about business and those who have a hobby, or those who might even be trying to commit fraud and scam them. So there are over 20 credibility points that are necessary for your business to have a strong, credible foundation. We're not going to cover all of those today, but we're going to go over a lot of the big ones. Ray, why don't you take it from here as we talk about your business name?
Well, excellent. So let's see, I'll just take over this little clicker right here. And can I see it there? Perfect. So your business name should basically be something that is, I don't know, what's the best way to put this?
It's vital.
It's vital to your, well, I mean, it's the very first thing. Think of it as a child being born. You're gonna spend a lot of significant time thinking about the name. The name is crucial to the success of your business. So make sure that your business name is exactly the same on all of your corporation papers, your licenses, your documentations, your bank statements, but also make sure that your business name isn't in a restricted industry.
Mm-hmm.
You also may want to take a look at, if you're doing multiple states business, then also you can have a trademark.
You want to make sure you can trademark that.
Trademark your name, yeah. That's something that most people don't even think about doing. Now, you can build business credit with nearly any type of entity, but it has to be some type of legal structure. If you're sole proprietorship, if you're just doing business as, you're going to be personally liable. You're going to actually need to incorporate to separate your business from your personal credit. And unless you have a separate business entity, you might be doing business, but you're not really a business. I've been there. I know when I started out, that's where I was. But you need to be a corporation, an LLC, an S Corp, a C Corp, in order to actually create that separation. I mean, there's a reason that we create these legal entities, because your body's an entity, the business is an entity. We're creating these separate entities so they can each stand alone. That's really the true goal of building business credit. Now, of course, we build credit on our Social Security number, but your business is going to be building its business credit attached to its EIN number. This is your employer identification number. This is your federal tax ID number. And it works very similar to the personal Social Security number. Now, your tax ID number is used for when you got to open up a bank account, when you're setting up your business profiles with the business credit reporting agencies. Now, you got to take your time to go back and verify all the information with all the agencies, with the IRS, with your banks, with your trade accounts. You got to make sure everybody has the exact same information. I think that's one of those really tedious tasks that kind of drives you a little bit nuts, but that's the success is in the details.
Congruency.
That's what
you're talking about.
I like that word, congruency, because us as humans, we can miss this, but who are we trying to beat?
The underwriter.
The underwriter, the computer underwriter algorithms. Computers, it's all binary. It's ones and zeros, so it's hard for them to miss. They don't really miss unless there's a flaw in the algorithm. But as they're cross-referencing things, they're going to pick up on these human errors.
Well, I mean, you bring up a good point, because the computer, if no red flags come up, you get an automated approval. So it's like you apply, boom, you get your line of credit. And that's beautiful. But when you apply and then you get a notification that you'll receive a letter in the mail in the next 2 weeks stating whether or not you're approved, that's like 110% of the time going to be a denial.
Absolutely.
Right? Because it gets kicked to a manual review, and then an actual human being will look at it and find all they have to do is find one excuse not to approve you, and they do.
You bring up a good point, because majority of applications are fraudulent. And so they have these safety guards in place to prevent fraud. And if anything just doesn't make them feel right, it's just not even worth their time. They receive so many applications on the daily basis that they don't necessarily, there's no shortage of people that are looking for funds.
Well, also think about this. I mean, you have a computer that's doing their job. They have to justify their job, right?
Right.
So if something gets kicked for manual review and they can say, no, I'm saving the company from fraud or something.
It's like a home inspector.
Exactly. Have to justify their job.
It must be a real brick and mortar business. So you need a deliverable physical. Now, in the startup, if you have to use your home address, you can, but we're wanting to move away from that. We don't want you to be using PO Box, UPS stores, mailbox, etc. addresses. And some lenders won't even approve you unless these criteria are even met.
I want to point something out there. If you use your home address, so I don't know when the last time you pulled a D&B report, but when you pull a D&B report, they now have right near the top of the report a Google Maps shot of where your business is located. So if you use your home address, there's your picture of your house right there at the top of the report. So now we're talking about over-the-road truckers. They're typically not going to spend a lot of time, and it doesn't make sense for them to have a brick and mortar office. Right. So there's got to be some other options for them. Maybe on the next slide.
Yeah, we definitely got some address solutions for you. So if you're looking for just address only to receive your mail and packages, you can have a dedicated address only location. Now, a lot of those are at virtual offices or executive office suites. Now, you can take it up a notch at the virtual office because then you're using a professional business address. There's usually a receptionist there that's there during business hours. You can also, some have a la carte services, so you could get a dedicated phone line. Some, like Regis has, where those receptionists can actually answer the phone. You can rent out some offices there on a part-time basis, hourly basis, per meeting, or yearly. I mean, there's all sorts of flexible different programs out there.
So I guess if you're a trucker and you're trying to meet with some different other companies, maybe combine, do a merger, or maybe you're looking to create a new warehouse hub, you're going to be doing a commercial real estate deal. I like the flexibility of the virtual office because it can just be a mailing address that forwards the mail to where you need it to go.
Absolutely.
But you have the flexibility to have a meeting space if for some reason you needed to. And then you can just pay for that meeting space by the hour for when you use it.
You bring up a great point, because let's say that if you're an over the road, so I was talking to a guy today and he's driving, 18 or 19-hour trip. When you start to get into a larger network of virtual offices, for example, if you're doing a lot of work from your computer or whatever, you may want to look at like a Regis, where they have, thousands of Regis across the country. And if you have that, they have like little co-working stations that you can just go in and work for whatever major city you're in. So there's a lot of really great options.
Yeah, we also use DaVinci and Alliance.
Absolutely. So any of these larger networks are perfect to plug into. Of course, a true office, let's say that you're at that point where you got a couple rigs and you're actually going to get a warehouse, you're going to actually have a business location. That's the most ideal. But, is it necessary? No, not anymore. It's not necessary. But if you do have that, it's just going to be one huge benefit to you. Now, you must have a dedicated business phone number listed with the National 411 directory underneath the name of your business. So lenders, creditors, vendors, and insurance providers, all of these entities are going to be checking to see if you're in there. Now, if you do have an 800 number or a toll-free number, that gives you extra credibility. Nowadays, everybody pretty much has long distance. I'm sure wherever you're at right now and wherever you're watching this, there's people in your vicinity, and there could be 10 different, area codes in the vicinity that you're in. Nowadays, everybody pretty much has long distance on their cell phones, and so there's not really a need for 800 numbers anymore. However, when was the last time you dealt with a reputable business that did not have an 800 number? It's one of those things that just adds credibility to your business. So,
which is the point on the next slide. You just made. Good job.
Now, what about cell phone numbers? Cell phone numbers as your main business line can get you flagged as a non-established business, which is too high of risk for many lenders. So don't give personal cell phone numbers or residential phone numbers as your business number. You can forward, a virtual number, so a VoIP, a voice internet or voice over internet protocol phone number. A lot of these are very inexpensive. So you get a business number, and then you have a professional answering service on there. You have a professional voicemail on there, and you can always have it forward to your cell phone. There's a lot of different options there with.
And I think with Ring Central, you can get service plans as low as $15 a month to $30, but a lot of times they'll let you use your cell phone number that they give you, the VoIP number, as interchangeable as a fax number or a phone number.
That's a very good point, because you're also going to need a good fax number as well, because some of these applications are going to be required to be faxed.
Are they now?
So as a business, you will need that fax number, because not only are those applications sometimes going to need to be faxed, but you can set up what's called like an e-fax, which is something that's really easy. So like what Joseph was just talking about, how you could be interchangeable. Most of the time now it's email to fax, and then on the other side, how they're receiving it, it's basically being converted to an email. So very rarely do they have fax to fax nowadays. It's usually email.
But this is perfect for over-the-road trucking, because when do you have time
to actually
get a fax or send a fax? But when you can just use your smartphone and convert your text messages or your emails into a fax, or download a PDF on your, a form to fill out, and then send it, in an e-fax.
Because people ask me all the time, they're like, really, fax is still a thing? And they talk about the 411. 411 is still a thing.
Because of the underwriter, right? And when the underwriter needs more information, they don't, it says, I don't know if they're the ones who actually haven't come into the 21st century.
Pretty much, yeah. They're very old school. Lenders are very old school. They are looking for credible businesses that have been established for a long period of time. If your business has been up and running for a while, then you were put into the national 411 at some point or another. Not so much anymore, but originally it was, you're in business, you go into the phone book. And that was just kind of the way things worked. You had a fax number for your business because there's always documentation that was coming and going. Nowadays, that's really becoming obsolete, but lenders still like to see that because it's a huge sign of credibility.
I'll tell you this, we work with a lot of clients every day, some that have actually signed up and become our clients, but others who aren't. And a lot of people, they just skip these things because it takes time, it's annoying, it's like the small little picadillo. But I mean, we can't stress it enough. These things that people skip become the most important decision-making tools that the automated underwriting computer algorithms actually look to.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. That absolutely, Joseph. So what about having an online profile? So credit providers will research your company on the internet. Everybody Googles everybody now. So it's best if they learned everything directly from your company website. If you don't have the website or you don't have the resources yet to get to that point, it will hurt your chances of getting business. It's not having a company website, it will hurt your chances of getting business credit, because nowadays it's kind of, who doesn't do business online?
Well, if you're talking about vendor credit and revolving store cards, a lot of times you can get those in the first 2 rounds that we do without a website. Right. But when you start getting into auto vehicle financing and high limit unsecured credit cards, they're going to want to see a little more legitimacy. It
comes back to, are you somebody that they want to lend to? Do they feel like you're treating your business seriously? Your business isn't necessarily a hobby. Does it look like you're out there really moving and shaking? And with the internet, it's very easy to put that big presence out there, even when you're a little guy. So it's important to get a business email address. That's absolutely crucial. So whatever yourbusinesses.com, make sure you go out and get that. And if not only it's not necessarily just professional, but it greatly helps your chances of getting approval for business credit. Now, if you look at a business card, and we do a lot in real estate. And so sometimes I talk about, here's our, we could potentially.
Oh, click to the next slide, because it'll make you a point. The point you're going to make is right here on the next slide.
So, if you start to see a Gmail account, Yahoo accounts, yet you're supposed to be this big successful business, people start to question that subconsciously. So you don't want to be using the free internet services like Yahoo or Hotmail. There's nothing worse than a credit provider saying, you know, cute girl 2015 at yahoo.com.
Very unprofessional.
It is. It really is. And so it should be your company .com, and you could have your name, Joe Smith, John Smith, at your company, support, info, team. There's a lot of great ones out there, but just think about what other businesses have done as far as credible looking email addresses and just duplicate it. That's really what it is. Common mistake when building business credit for a company is not matching your business address on the business license. So hands down, we see approvals skyrocket when you have a business license. It is just this huge thing of credibility. If you've gone through the effort of getting something for your state, your county, your city, wherever you're at, and getting that licensing, it could be huge. And this includes commercial truck driver's license. So there's a lot of—
and any other type of permits that they need to have, right?
Operating permits, things like that. These are huge as far as the credibility aspect for your business.
Because creditors use a system called the LexisNexis or the check system that checks all of that information in a huge database, all of its public record. And if they can find that a name and an address doesn't match up, that's a red flag right there. You're gone.
Booted. So what about your state filings with your Secretary of State? Those have to be correct. You know, sometimes I talk about this business that I had for 2 years and I could never find it searching the Secretary of State. It's because my first name was spelled wrong. I didn't even realize it. So
you don't know how to spell your first name?
Apparently I don't know how to read my first name. Your county license, your permit filings must be listed correctly. Your city license and permits must be filed correctly and listed correctly. Human error is huge.
But you bring up a good point back on that business license, because it's not so much, I mean, I do see that people that have that do get more approvals, but I think even more important is that the maximum amount of credit that can be offered is given to the businesses that have a business license. That's why it's so powerful for truck drivers who have their CDL and the address on there is updated to match with what they have going on with the business. And then, I mean, because that's very powerful, right? So, I mean, sometimes like, well, CDL could be the home address, right?
Right.
Or different things like that. Well, you can have a business and you have a business address, but you're the owner of the business. And so sometimes they require you to also, in addition, provide your personal address information for identity verification purposes, not for credit checks,
right?
But for identity verification checks. And it's very powerful when you have a license to maybe somebody starting out doesn't have a license, might get a $500 line. Somebody who has the license gets a $2,000 or $3,000 line, right? But both of them just started their business. The only thing different between the two is one has a license and the other doesn't.
That's such, oh man, that's so true. Great point. Now, what about our business bank account? So your business banking history is vital to the future success of securing larger business loans. So when you start a business, you should also be opening up your business bank account. And on that day that you start your account, that's really when lenders consider your business to have started. It's a huge milestone.
You bring up a good point, because this is why shelf corps don't work.
Yes.
People think that they're buying this age on a business, but when you buy a shelf corp, you're not getting a bank account with it.
Nope.
So you buy your shelf corp, you start your bank account, and so you don't even get those 5 years or 10 years.
Lenders are savvy now. They know people sell these companies that are looking for the age in business, because it used to be where that worked. And now, they bought up a whole bunch of them, so now they're selling them off. But the thing is, if you try to cheat the system, they understand. So you're going to have to invest some money into your business, but invest it the right way, so you know how to make this work for your benefit. All right, so we got any questions in there in the chat box here? Let's see. back to that in a second. All right. So next we're going to be talking about,
Here we go.
hey,
What about a virtual business address?
so that's probably a little bit ago, but yeah, it looks like we should have covered all that aspect. So I believe we did. Your virtual address. So if you guys are tuning in a little bit late, make sure you go back and watch this because we covered over virtual address, UPS stores, your home address. Definitely check that out. Also, remember, guys, we're going to be putting out a masterclass this weekend on how to build your business credit. Everything step by step. Now, the other thing about your business bank account is having a high account balances, positive ending balances. That will help get you a good bank rating. And that's essential to loan approval. So try to keep your bank balance of $10,000 or higher for a 5 bank rating. Now, you may not be able to do that necessarily in the beginning, but that should be your goal to really be able to show that you are stable and your lending approvals are going to go through the roof. Now, back to when we go and talk about your business listing, well, let's make sure that your state, your IRS, the bank, the National 411 directory, that they all have your business listed the exact same way with the exact proper legal name. Now, I'm talking about if somebody's spelling, abbreviating street should be everywhere. If there's if in your address there's the abbreviation of street or street is spelled out, if somebody else is spelling it out street, you're going to have to get that corrected because what we're looking at is what is the postal service and the IRS recognize as the official address. That's what we want to be using.
Also, every bill that the business has,
every bill,
utility or whatever, address has to be uniform and consistent.
Yep. So power bills, phone bills, contracts on leases, basically that has your business name listed the right way, correctly, and your business address. That's huge. That's why a lot of time we talk about it's really important if you are maybe you've been working for a company for a while and now you're thinking about, okay, I'm an owner operator or I'm about to buy my truck and I just want to go and start my own thing. That it's crucial through all stages. Maybe we have to go back and correct some things, but if you're just in the early stages, that's where working with us can really help out because we'll show you how to do it right the first time. So you don't have to go back and correct these things. But if you do, we'll just go ahead and do that. But either way, we can make sure that you get it quicker and faster and more effective. So let's get your business a DUNS number. Now, what is a DUNS number? Make sure that your business is listed with Dun & Bradstreet. If your business isn't, then you got to go get a DUNS number. Getting a DUNS number, you got to start that process. You can't truly start building business credit until you have a profile with Dun & Bradstreet. Now, your DUNS number will also play an important role in enabling your business to borrow without a personal guarantee. So not only do you need the EIN, but you also need a DUNS number. To get a DUNS number, you got to go to Dun & Bradstreet. Now, when you understand, Dun & Bradstreet runs the show in the world of business credit. So they're going to tell you that you're going to have to spend some money with their products and services before you can actually get a complete profile, before you this and that, whatever. You don't actually have to do that. And so I encourage you, if you're at this stage and you're looking to get a Dun & Bradstreet number, reach out to us. Let's talk about really what you're going to need to do and in your situation, how you should go about getting it effectively for free, but also without hurting yourself. Because there is information that you could provide to Dun & Bradstreet that will create some denials. So we don't want you to do that as well. You can also enroll with the DMBI. This is to self-monitor your credits with Dun & Bradstreet. So subscription on that, anywhere from $40 to $99 a month. The other great thing is too, if you're looking at that stage where you need to start checking your business credit reports, our clients working with us, we put them into our account, and so only for $24 a month, they get access to the reports that they need, not just Dun & Bradstreet, but like business Equifax Small Business, and can move forward effectively.
Yeah, like these two guys right here.
Yeah, there you go. So, you know what? Sometimes I just get ahead of myself. Start talking ahead of the slides, not changing them quick enough.
It just shows that you really know your material. You are so smart. How many businesses have you done this with now?
Quite a few.
150?
Yes, lots. We currently have about 150 folks that we're helping streamline this process to get the capital that they need for their business. So if you look at all these reports piled together, you could easily spend $300 a month on these reports. Working with us, only 24 bucks a month when you even get to that point. Now, a business credit report can be started much the same way that your consumer report commonly is, with small credit cards. So think about the first lending tool that you ever received on your personal side. It's something that maybe was a secured card. It was maybe a student card. It was somebody co-signed. Now, let's look at that on your business side. A business can be approved for these small little starter credit lines, these credit cards, these vendor accounts to help build an initial credit profile. So that's where you're going to really want to start, is with that vendor credit. Now, what is vendor credit? Now, vendor credit is where a vendor, so could be another business, a distributor of some sort, extends you a line of credit for your business on net account terms. So this could be a net 15, a net 30, net 60, net 90-day terms, which means that you can buy their product or service up to a certain dollar amount. So if they extend you $100 of credit, then you can buy up to $100 worth. And then you have that 15, 20 days, 60 days, 90 days to pay that bill in full. So if you're all set up with net 30 terms and you bought $300 worth of goods, then that $300 is due to that business within 30 days. Now, get products and services for your business that you actually need, and you can simply defer those payments for 30 days. Easing cash flow, it's huge, especially, I mean, if you're with a lot of folks with, fleet credit. So this could be actually gas cards as well. Well, we're kind of not necessarily gas cards, but
it is gas cards. The net 15,
so,
the net 15s.
A lot of those net 15s. So think about this. You got a job that you got to do, and so you're going to spend a couple days.
They're not going to pay you for a couple of weeks.
Right. Yeah. So you don't get paid until you're done, until you get delivered. Yeah. This could be a week or two. So you're able to fuel up, take care of everything while you're doing the job, and then once you get paid, now you can go pay for all that gas that you spent. Huge. Now, so some vendors will approve your company for net 30 payment terms upon verification with as little as just having an EIN number for your business and making sure that you're in the 411 directory.
Critical. So critical.
But it's all these pieces have to be in place. They really do. So getting the most out of your vendor accounts, always apply first without using your social security number. Now, this is important to understand because they're going to ask for your social security number.
No.
Yes. But the question is, how do you do it without giving that personal guarantee? So some vendors will request it, and some will even tell you on the phone that they need to have it, but first submit it without it. So let's take a look at your first net 30 account, and it reports, and it's showing up on your Dun & Bradstreet account. The Dun system will automatically activate your file if it isn't already. This is also true with Experian and Equifax. But the question is, it takes a couple of accounts, and they also they want to make sure that they're on the phone with you to really give you that complete profile.
Can I give you an example?
Yes.
So we have net 30 accounts with Uline. We have net 30 accounts with Quill.
Right.
And people who didn't follow your advice and set up the entity the right way, or they didn't match the address with the Secretary of State, with the IRS, with the bank account, all of that. There's any small discrepancy. They're not in the 411 directory. All of those things. Well, maybe even one of those things. Your vendor's account, the net 30, they won't extend you those terms. They're going to make you establish a track record with them for 3, 4, 5 months before they will extend you those line of credit. So, or they'll ask you for a personal guarantee. So if everybody did what you said to do in the beginning, then this step is really easy. You just apply, you automatically get the account, and bada boom, bada bing, they ship product, you get invoiced, you pay, and it's super easy.
Yeah, because we have seen that. I mean, we've seen sometimes where they've been told they're going to have to pre-purchase for an entire year just because the uncertainty. It's crazy.
But that's because people take shortcuts.
Right.
They skip all those important steps.
So,
But I need a fax number? No, I don't need a fax number. But I'm not going to buy another business line. I'll just use my cell phone.
it's funny. I mean, people just think that we're telling them these things for fun.
Or that it's just a suggestion. You don't have to. No, it's like, this is what you have to do if you're serious about it.
So using vendor accounts to your advantage. So you must have a total of at least 5 net 30 accounts reporting. So some vendors require initial prepaid orders. Like Joey was saying, some of these could be a 90-day seasoning period. Some of them will start reporting the very first month. Your vendors don't necessarily have to basically take care of all of your business needs. But what it is if let's, for example, say that there's a vendor, and I mean, it's hard though, because most vendors, I'm pretty sure you could find something for them. But let's just say you had to order some office supplies that you just couldn't use. You already have enough printer paper,
Well, yeah, like
donate it.
your over-road trucker, how many printer cartridges and stacks of paper and
Right.
Sharpie markers, and envelopes do you really need?
Usually at all those, you could also get some cleaning materials, you could get some paper towels, so you can use those things. But let's say that you're just like, hey, look, I have everything I absolutely need. I don't need any more printer ink. I don't need any of this. Consider donating.
Getting the tax write-off for the donation.
Absolutely. There's a lot of charities out there that need a little help. So, this usually applies to folks that haven't really started a business yet. They're in the early stages and they're like, I don't really need pens, but maybe there's an organization that you really care about.
Well, there's a lot of charities that try to put like school supplies, stuff together for kids and backpacks and
Great point.
things like that.
So actually, now this brings up another great point. If you're somebody that already likes to donate to those types of things, use it as a business write-off, because then when you do it the right way, your philanthropic efforts can become a business deduction.
And you get that money
And you're
back.
building business credit.
You're building business credit, you're helping someone else out, and you get the money back.
I don't know if there's anything better than that. So working with vendor accounts. So pay all of your net 30 vendor accounts in full, and on time.
I mean, they're not revolving?
No, these are not revolving. It doesn't mean you can only pay part of it. It doesn't mean you can only pay a certain percentage. You pay the entire thing well before, and before the due date.
So if I get a $4,000 line offered to me, I shouldn't go spend $4,000.
Not unless
you're ready to pay for it.
Not unless you're ready to pay for that entire thing. So that, when you get a gas card and it's $10,000 gas card, don't rack up $10,000 of fuel unless you're prepared to pay that all off.
Well, what is the minimum purchase that you would recommend for folks then?
It's typically anywhere from $50 to $100. It just depends on the vendor itself. Some of these are, some gas cards want you to spend $75 a month before they'll report.
And if you're over the road trucker, is that going to be difficult to do?
Not
You're
really.
like, wait a minute, that's like one tank.
Now, the other thing is too, when you're first starting out, be patient, allow time for the vendors to start reporting. It can take a little bit of time for them to get into their system. So it typically takes 3 cycles of net accounts reporting to build credit scores. So what that really means is it may be up to 90 days before you see these purchases show up on your business credit report. Now, most merchants, most major retailers offer business credit, but they just don't advertise it. They're going to want you to give that personal guarantee. There really is no benefit to a merchant, to a lender, to promote credit without using a personal guarantee. I mean, what is the benefit to them? If, here's our products that you're totally off the hook for, except for your business. I mean, there's no point in advertising that. If they can get you on the hook, they will, personally. So that's simply why they don't promote these things. And that's why most people don't even realize that these are possible. So unsecured credit. Another option is unsecured credit. Unsecured credit cards are not secured with collateral, they're secured with your good personal credit. So if you're going to use your personal credit, let's use it the right way. Using good personal credit gets you unsecured credit cards with a personal guarantee. This usually means that you got to have higher than a 680 credit score. Typically over 700 is really what we want to see, but good business credit gets you unsecured credit cards with no personal guarantee. So what does that actually mean?
Well, I sort of threw this in kind of in the middle. Everything you've been talking about to this point is how to do this without using a personal guarantee, right? How can we build a business credit without it? And what people need to realize is that you're showing them the organic way of building up to 14 accounts at minimum. I mean, if we can get 20 or 25, right, we want to get as many accounts as possible. But for some people, that is like a part-time job, or that takes a long time for somebody to figure out, well, how can I make all these purchases? So a shortcut, the perfect time, if you are going to take a shortcut and use a personal guarantee, this would be because we end it very often, but if you are going to use a personal guarantee, this is the point to use it, because you could get up to 8 credit cards that are personally guaranteed that can count. So like if you use the personal guarantee, you could skip the vendors, all this, getting those 5 accounts.
That's huge.
You could just skip that. Now, if you're somebody's like, yeah, but I don't have good credit, my credit is shot. Well, guarantors are welcome. So you might not have the credit, but what about brother, cousin, aunt, uncle, sister, brother, right? If they have the credit, but maybe they want to help you, they don't have the money, but they have the credit, it's like co-signing for your business. And you're going to show, hey, look, as you can tell, we are essential workers. So even if the country shuts down, we don't shut down.
What was that statistic you were telling me about how many businesses actually have somebody in the family who has contributed?
Oh, right. The SBA said that 75% of all businesses use seed capital from family members.
Wow. And so if you've been thinking like, well, my family doesn't have much at all, or my family doesn't want to give me any money, but what about
grandpa?
What about that credit, that credit guarantee? They could become a partner with you. There's a lot of different options.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so, I mean, there's some folks that do that just to jumpstart their business. Say, hey, look, just help me get my business off the ground. Let's open up these lines of credit so they can start reporting positively for the first 12 months. And then I can get my business in the place that it needs to be, where it's able to just run off. Think about a child, it's like you could co-sign for them, but then they're able to stand on their own and then they're off and running. So think about that. It doesn't have to be forever. This is what's important to understand. Getting somebody to help personally guarantee your business doesn't have to be forever. It could only be for, a year or something like that.
Absolutely. You're so right. And when you look at the safety and stability, I mean, a lot of people have thought that, well, over-the-road trucking businesses are kind of risky because some of them start up and some of them fail. But as you can see what's happened recently in the economy, we are very dependent upon our truckers. In fact, they can't hire enough of them right now.
That's right.
There's shortages. So starting a company in today's environment, in today's economy, is a very sound option, really.
It is.
So this is something where somebody is investing in you. They have the peace of mind of knowing that this is actually a really, today, a secure industry type.
Absolutely. That's great advice. Great advice. What else we got here? We got some.
Well, I kind of cut you off on round one. I slid this in right between round 1 and round 2. So now you're into round 2. I didn't tell you I was slipping in that slide.
Hey, that's okay. So let's see. After we establish those 5 trade lines by using vendor accounts, getting revolving accounts, this is the next step. So revolving accounts are cards a business owner can use and that they don't basically have to pay the full balance on. We were talking about the net 30s, how you have to have those fully paid off. Once it's revolving, there's going to be a minimum payment. And that's what's really nice about those.
We're talking about like Office Depot, Lowe's, Home Depot, right? We're talking about stores, Amazon, right?
Yeah, and that's crucial too, because we want to get a lot of these larger store revolving cards, because that's the step before you get to MasterCards, Visas, American Express type cards. It's that step in between, which is really huge. And so what does that even look like? Because many of you haven't even heard about that most businesses, first and foremost, most businesses have some type of business account, but most stores will not approve a business owner for a business credit unless the owner has an established credit profile, established score, much like in the consumer credit world. So vendor accounts must be first used to establish a profile and score, and then your business can go onto the store credit. Usually takes about 90 days or less to establish the score and profile with those vendor accounts, those trade lines, and then we can start getting the store credit.
Or they could use the shortcut option that I talked about.
Right. So let's recap a little bit. There's I have terrible credit and nobody's going to give me any credit, or I just can't use my personal credit. Well, let's get these vendor accounts up and running. We got to get about 5 to 6 of those, and then we can move on to the store cards and start to build our accounts there. We got to get to 14 accounts. Or I have good personal credit. Somebody I know has good personal credit that can jumpstart your business, getting access to $25,000 to $150,000 in less than 3 weeks. And then by doing that jumpstarts your business credit, because the credit cards that we're looking for are the ones that report to the business credit reporting agencies. And also we want to stay away from the ones that report to your personal side as well. By doing so, that will jumpstart this process where you could have an excellent business credit rating in less than 60 days, really.
Absolutely.
But you still got to go and get some more vendor accounts, folks. You still got to go do that, because you got to get to 14 accounts.
Oh, I moved it ahead on you one.
Oh.
I moved it ahead on you one slide. Sorry.
Oh, there we go. So revolving accounts for business. So most major stores, like I said, offer it. But there's Racetrack. Racetrack is a corporate fleet card, and it's basically an ultimate tool for managing your fuel purchases, vehicle maintenance costs, and they report to Dun & Bradstreet.
The Fuelman MasterCard.
Fuelman MasterCard, look at that. This is a platinum card that helps drivers account, your accounting, your spending. They also report to Dun & Bradstreet and Equifax Small Business. There's Alley Car Financing. They offer commercial vehicle financing, and they report to Dun & Bradstreet.
We also have Ford and Toyota.
Ford and Toyota. And these literally can be built without using a personal guarantee, getting that financing in place. Phillips 66, Conoco, commercial. This card accepted, at 200 or 2,600 locations, plus 3,000 different Phillips locations. And they report to Dun & Bradstreet and Experian. Huge, huge, huge cards that you can use here. So once a total of 10 of these accounts are reporting, a business owner can then start applying for a Visa, MasterCard, American Express. So actually, I want to go back real quick and just mention. So let's say, look at these 4 gas cards right here. Let's say that you were able to get 6 credit cards through our credit card stacking method, and now you've gotten these 4 fuel cards. Boom.
Well, they aren't all fuel cards. One's a maintenance card,
one's
a fuel card, or 2 are fuel cards, and then one's auto vehicle financing. So
let's say that these can definitely be used for your business, and now you're at the point where you have these 10 accounts that are actually reporting. Now you can start applying for Visa, MasterCard, American Express type credit. So approval amounts will be equivalent to the highest credit limit account on the business credit report. Therefore, try to have 10 accounts with at least one of them having a $10,000 high limit account on.
And that's not hard to do. I mean, some of those fuel cards you were talking about start at 40,000.
Easy,
right?
Yes. So keep using the credit and keep applying for more. Talk to your credit providers to raise your credit limits. If you do this, your business credit will keep going up, and you can get higher credit lines typically within 6 to 12 months.
I had somebody ask me just the other day, so how when are you done building business credit? Like how long? And I obviously we tell them that it takes anywhere from 6 to 12 months to get $50,000. But I said, you never stop building business credit.
Right.
You always keep applying. You should never stop applying, because it doesn't hurt you to apply. And so we've had, in one case, I know we got Marlon.
Mm-hmm.
He's got $1 million in lines of credit. I mean, his stack of accounts, he's got like, what was that? Like 50 different cards. But I
It's
mean,
wild.
that's applying for cards over the last like 7 years. Right? You just never stop. You never stop applying.
As your
for
business
cards.
grows, you're going to need access to more. So once you have 10 to 15 accounts, you can start to get approved for the fleet credit, the auto vehicle financing. Once you have at least one account with $10,000 high limit credit, then you can basically, you're going to be starting to get approved for most things that you apply for. Plus, you should have higher scores. So what we were saying earlier, it's got to be over a 75 PAYDEX score with Dun & Bradstreet. And the score basically just confirms that you are able to pay your bills and that you have a track record of paying your bills on time. So with the fleet credit, it's used for everything to do with your company vehicles and can be used at locations all over the country. Fuel, vehicle repair, maintenance.
I mean, a lot of the things we've mentioned have all been to help support and build a trucking business.
Right.
I mean, we did mention like Home Depot and Office, Depot, those kind of things. And we have mentioned like Uline and Quill. But for the most part, the speed at which we build this is going to be tailored to the business. So we're going to be looking for the fuel cards, the maintenance cards, vehicle financing, right? We're just going to build
the stuff you use.
Exactly. And that's what the power of business credit does. I mean, if you do need to build an additional account and it is outside of what you need to do, I liked your suggestion about giving it away into a tax write-off donation.
Right. Donate it to your family kitchen. Paper towels or something like that. I always love that. So let's see, what's beyond fleet credit? Well, as you keep building more business credit, you'll qualify for higher limit accounts. Most loans will require personal guarantee and credit check for approvals. And you will need well over 20 reporting accounts, a higher number of employees, and higher revenue and profits to get loans without these. So being responsible with your free credit leads you directly to vehicle financing.
Right. Well, without the business credit component, you will never be able to get any financing above $350,000.
That's wow. That's so important. So how over-the-road truckers can get business credit linked to your EIN and not to your social security number. First, set up your business responsibly and
Bing.
Set up your credibility. Exactly. Get your Dun & Bradstreet number situated with Dun & Bradstreet.
Bing.
Leverage the starter credit accounts and then move into the store credit accounts.
Bing again.
Then move on to fleet credit and keep your social security number off of the applications.
Bing.
And use all your credit responsibly. Pay your bills on time and in full.
Bing, 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 bing.
Right. If you're going to go through all this effort, don't mess it up. Don't overextend yourself.
Absolutely. Ray, you did a great job. Couldn't have done better myself. Listen, we want you to contact us today to expedite your business credit building, right? To get credit for your EIN that's not linked to your social security number, right? So what does that mean? That means we want you working with the wise guys and ties. You can find out more information about all the services that we have to offer on our website. Here it is. When somebody enrolls with us, what do they get? Some people ask us all the time. What's right here on your screen? People get 24/7 access to their own business credit suite. The program is in English and Spanish. They're able to get advisors that coach you through the process. We're talking about people that call you, right? Help you set up your business name, your entity, your EIN, help with your address, your toll-free phone number setup, help with setting up the fax number, the 411 listing, help with your setting up your website, doing a credibility check, setting up your email, right? We want to help you make sure that you're compliant, help you in terms of when you set up your bank, what are you looking for, making sure everything's recorded correctly, having a merchant services account, setting up your account with Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, and Equifax. All of this, doing it for free, right? Because they're all wanting to charge you money. Your BIN set up with Experian. If you have any type of inaccuracies that show up, how do you go through a dispute process when there is no FCRA to referee? So what can you do, right? We have our financial advisory team that specializes in business credit, helps you with that, right? Ray was talking about the largest supply of starter vendors. Now, one of the things Ray didn't mention is that over 97% of vendors out there do not report positive business credit. So you can go set up a whole bunch of Net 30 accounts and you'd be like, how come I don't have business credit yet, Ray? You said to set up 5, I set up 12, and I still don't have any business credit because 97% of them don't report. So in our program, we track the approvals and the underwriting guidelines of over 100 different credit issuers. And at any given time, there's anywhere between 10 to 15 starter vendors that will give you credit on a Net 30 term without requiring a personal guarantee, provided that you've set your business up the right way. So we provide you that list of businesses and how to apply. Because a lot of people have heard like of Uline or Quill, but then they still can't get them to report because they don't know the underwriting guidelines of how to get them to report, which is what our system does, right? And then we also have the store credit, fuel credit, fleet credit, auto vehicle financing, high limit cash credit cards. We're talking Amex, Visa, MasterCard. This is the largest place where you can find all of this. And with financing for your business, even as a startup, right? Asset-based financing, unsecured financing, cash flow financing, all of it. Folks, if you're looking to grow and get to the point where you can qualify for SBA loans, term loans, we have a whole team of loan officers that will help you get a financial blueprint together and plan the next 5 years of your business's financial growth, right? So that's all wonderful. It's all well and good, but what does it cost? What does this business builder, credit builder program cost with Wise Guys and Ties? Go to wiseguysandties.com, click on pricing to learn more about everything that's in the program and to review what we've talked about. But what does it cost? Well, we have a no credit check option for people who want to finance. It costs $4,997. It requires $1,000 down and $365 a month for 11 months. But you do get our services and our whole team and everything in the program for up to 5 years. But for those who want to take advantage of a one-time cash discount, we do provide all of our services for $2,497 in a one-time payment. You get the online web-based program that takes you step-by-step through building your business credit, and it has the underwriting guidelines for over 100 different credit issuers. You get the financial advising team that specializes in building business credit. You get business coaching from Ray and I, two hour-long sessions. And then you also get our loan officers that will work with you with the financial blueprint to guide you through the process of the next 5 years of your business financing, help you get the paperwork together, help you to apply for different types of loans and lines of credit at the best rates that are available out there. For more information, folks, we want you to seek us out. Schedule a free consultation. If anything we said appeals to you and you're like, yeah, I want to do this. If you're an over-the-road trucker and you're thinking, man, I've hit a wall. I can't do it. I can't go any further. Well, we've got the financial solutions. I'd say about 20 to 25% of our clientele are over-the-road truckers that we help them successfully start, build, and grow their businesses. But regardless if you're an over-the-road trucker or you have a different business, maybe you've got a great idea for an invention that you want to bring to market, or maybe you're investing in real estate, whatever your business is. We work with hair salons. I mean, we have all kinds of businesses. The fact is that in times that we're in now, economic times, people are uncertain as what to do. I'm telling you, now is the time to take action. When everybody else hesitates, now is the time to seize the opportunity, because the opportunities that are available today might not be available later. So we want you to contact us. My name's Joseph Smith. This is Ray Fleming. We are the Wise Guys and Ties, and we are dedicated to helping you find the resources that you need to make your dreams come true so that you can do what you were put on this earth to do by God. Thank you so much for having us with you today. We look forward to seeing you later tonight on our Real Estate Investing Mastermind at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with none other than Ray Fleming, the property guy. On behalf of myself, Joseph Smith, and Ray Fleming, we want to say good night.
And God bless.